right, Bam still cannot seem to make anything work properly on the dual stream. What's a RTMP? I don't understand any of this. I don't know how to dual stream. I am a Luddite, and I don't understand how to dual stream. I don't think I'll ever make it be able to happen. I will forever be clapped and stuck on YouTube because apparently they're the only ones who I can bother to figure out how to make work on streaming. I can't seem to figure out any other avenue of streaming. But how you guys doing? Welcome to the Hat and Beard Show. It's Thursday, February 26, 2026. How you doing? You know what that means, that if it's February 26th, if it's 2262026, that means the Combine is about to, well, drills will be kicking off. The Combine did officially start this week, but the drill portion, what we're all really here to see, they did the measurables yesterday, and today we get to see people doing the drills. NFL Combine, what we learned during Wednesday's activities in Indianapolis, a little bit of a teaser from NFL.com. We'll discuss that, and then the rest, we'll have more NFL news. Mike Evans, longtime Buccaneers wide receiver, wants to look at all 32 teams in free agency, according to his agent. We will see and speculate and do what we can and ride this grandma wagon right through the offseason. Then we're going to take it on over, talk about some 3-1-3 action. The prospect who makes perfect sense for the Lions is the guy the draft experts will tell you to stay away from. Now, who could that possibly be? Well, if you look at that picture and you don't know who it is, you'd think it's Fat Braylon Edwards. They want us to draft Fat Braylon Edwards in the first round, so we'll see who that is. And then we got, well, look, I figure we can kind of focus more so on the defensive end class with the news of Taylor Decker returning for his 11th season in the NFL. Defensive ends who should rise up the Lions draft board at the Combine. Which defensive ends could jump up the Lions draft board after testing? The reality here is we're looking at outside of day one picks, right? Now, there are a lot of avenues the Lions can go, right? And it's, like I said the other day, guys, I have convinced myself this week that Sonny Styles is the guy the Lions need in the first round. So, you know, it is always nice to see what else is out there outside of, say, a first-round Keldrick Falk type pick. But we will discuss all of this and more, taking your super chats here on the Hat and Beard Show. If you want to be a member or take part in the live chat, engage with us here over at Mad Hatter Nation, you're going to have one very small barrier to entry, and that is you're going to have to subscribe to the channel. Now, it costs you absolutely nothing, and I think you get a substantial ROI right out of the gate, and long-term projections, well, they look pretty good. I could also use more voices in the nation trying to get the ear of Sheila Hamp, letting her know that Hat and Beard is a free agent CEO, open and available for the president and CEO job of the Detroit Lions. Okay, I can give you a couple of steps of my 3-step plan, but until I get the job, I can't give you all 3 steps. But we do need to get that information out to Sheila. Let her know that I am available and taking calls. So whenever she wants to pick up the old roto dial, ring-a-ding-ding, I'll happily climb that telephone pole to see what's going on. Slap the like button. Share this around with all of your friends. You guys are going to want to go ahead and turn that notification bell on so you're notified every single time we go live Monday through Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. right here at youtube.com. Oh, man, Monday's going to be a heck of a show. Not only will it be our biggest mock draft of the year so far, but we'll also have all of this information post-Combine. Oh, I can't wait. Sunday, watching the big fellas do their drills. Woo-hoo! We can look at all of our second-round projected players that we are looking after. Hopefully we don't go first round unless Spencer Fano somehow falls. Guys, now that's all out of the way. Let's go ahead and get into the show.
If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well, then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
All right, guys, we got news and notes. Let's go ahead and get into it for this Thursday morning show, 2026 NFL Combine, what we learned during Wednesday's activities in Indy. And there you go. There's my guy, Sonny Styles. What do you make of Ohio State's linebacker, Sonny Styles? Ooh, Sonny Styles. Indianapolis Wednesday marked the first day of prospect press conferences at the 2026 NFL Combine, with defensive linemen and linebackers leading off the podium proceedings, because it is kind of a flashier draft class for those guys, right? Here are 6 things we learned from their sessions with reporters on the eve of their workouts at Lucas Oil Stadium. Ohio State's Arvil Reese, potential NFL position. Arvil Reese is projected to be a potential top 5 pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. Now we just need to figure out his NFL position. Reese, who split time between linebacker and edge rusher at Ohio State, said he thinks playing both spots is possible in the league. Quote, teams have pretty much been asking me what I wanted to do. You know, just seeing where my mind was at, Reese said. I think I am an outside linebacker or an edge, potentially. The 6'4", 240-pound Reese said he has a lot to improve on at both spots, adding he'd like to get, quote, a little bigger. Well, don't we all? He thinks he's pretty decent at both positions. Well, you're going to want to go ahead and get really good at one or the other. But that he's, quote, just beginning to scratch the surface of what I can do as a pass rusher, said every first-round draft pick ever. I am just beginning to reach. Jamarcus Russell was just beginning to scratch the surface of his potential when he was drafted number 1 overall. Some teams have been showing Reese tape of Sam linebacker and edge rushers in combine meetings. Reese said Buckeyes defensive coordinator. Isn't this just an absolute chef's kiss of a compliment? Don't you just want to take this and you want to hang it on a statue? You want to go ahead and get it laminated before you put this this stamp of approval up on your mom's refrigerator. Buckeyes defensive coordinator Matt Patricia compared him to former Patriots linebacker Jamie Collins, and they watched cut-ups of Collins together. I'm not saying Jamie Collins wasn't great, but I'm just saying Matt Patricia is not someone that I'd want really putting their stamp of approval on my productivity. Right now, the plan is to run the 40, do the linebacker drills and the edge drills, he said. So he's actually going to do both. If he really wants to maximize his potential and guarantee himself the more than likely top 5 pick, go ahead and do both drills. Yeah, you're going to, at worst, expose some deficiencies. At best, you're going to lock yourself into a top 3 pick, generational wealth, signed the day you put your Herbie Hancock on that fucking contract, dude. Let's go. Arvil Reese. I'm going to be honest. I'm not that wild about him. Hat doesn't know ball. He doesn't know nothing. Yeah, I'm only the guy that said Jack Campbell is going to be the next coming of Brian Urlacher in the offseason and was poised to have an all-pro season. Oh, would you look at them apples? George's Allen is not working out in Indy. Teams will have to wait a bit longer on the athletic testing results for one of the top linebackers in the draft. C.J. Allen told reporters Wednesday he will not be working out at the Combine. Quote, I'm going to push everything to my pro day, he said. That's when I'll be running, jumping, and doing drills. Well, unfortunately, the Lions aren't going to be able to see anything of that because they're scratching. I don't know if you've seen Brad Holmes with his little statement shirts that they like to wear, but it said W or HWS with a line scratched right through it, and it stands for height, weight, and speed, because they want to see what you can do on the field. They want to see how you move, and they want to look at the tape. The All-American Bulldog had 88 tackles last season and is firmly in the first-round mix. Analysts Bucky Brooks and Daniel Jeremiah both have Allen going 30th overall to the Broncos in their most recent mock draft. The next, Fred Warner, number 3 top linebacker prospect, warmly welcomes the comp. A 5-star recruit from the suburbs of Columbus, Sonny Styles, arrived at Ohio State with plenty of fanfare. The son of Lorenzo Styles, who starred for the Buckeyes in the 1990s as a all-Big Ten linebacker, Sonny actually spent his first 2 years with the program at safety, but in the spring of 2024, he converted to his father's position, and the Ohio State linebacker coach, James Laurinaitis, made a prediction. Quote, when I first switched from safety to linebacker, Coach Laurinaitis sent me a text. He said, hey, man, you're going to be a first-round linebacker, man. All right, man, you're going to be a first-round linebacker. A couple years later, that assessment appears quite persistent, with Styles being one of the most universally acclaimed prospects in the 2026 NFL Draft. Ranked as Daniel Jeremiah's number 5 overall player in the class, Styles is a mock mainstay. At this point, the question isn't whether he'll go in round 1, but rather how high. He will go at number 17 to the Detroit Lions. Off-ball linebackers seldom crack the top 10 these days, but Styles offers rare athleticism and versatility in a 6'5", 243-pound frame, garnering regular comps to the current gold standard at the position. Fred, currently injured, Warner, and I would say that if you want to look to the emerging gold standard, the next generation of dominant linebackers in the NFL, well, why don't you just go ahead and grab yourself a Sonny Styles and pair him with Action Jack Campbell? Let's get after it, boys and girls. Jacob Rodriguez sees a fit with the Bears or the Broncos coming off a monster season at Texas Tech. He plans to participate in all combine events, except for the bench press. Doesn't want to flex his boobies. Rated as the number 4 linebacker in the draft, Rodriguez told reporters he met with every NFL team and seems to view the Chicago, or shall we say the Indiana Bears, and Denver as the 2 destinations that would suit him well. Both teams would be in the linebacker market this offseason, with the Broncos' Alex Singleton headed to free agency and Tremaine Edmonds potentially parting ways with the Bears. Side note, the Bears, by all accounts, have granted Tremaine Edmonds to seek a trade. There is a couple of thought processes behind that. One being, and probably the most logical one, Tremaine Edmonds not necessarily the youngest chicken out there in the coop. Also, kind of a big salary that he's eating up there for Chicago. And, they're going to eventually have the toll come due on all these rookie scale contracts that they're amassing to try and win now. But we all know that Chicago is a paper tiger, right? They are not the real deal. And what I think you're going to see here is after 1 year under the leadership of Small PP Benedict Arnold Osama Ben Johnson, the trader in the Windy City, a veteran, a well-regarded, highly talented veteran like a Tremaine Edmonds goes, I don't want any part of this chicanery. If you squint your eyes, and you don't have to squint too much, I can see flashes of Matt Patricia. I can see a version of a Matt Patricia in the eyes of a Ben Johnson. I want no part of this. I want Uti. I want Uti before Ben Johnson tries to touch my booty. Let's go. Bailey planning to showcase talent with stock booming. That's my guy, David Bailey. Initially, right when we hit the offseason combine stuff, I was like, David Bailey, that's our guy. But I think David Bailey is going to be this year's Will Anderson Jr. He's going to go real high in the draft, and I think he's going to absolutely crush it as long as he can stay healthy and goes to a team that understands how to utilize his skill set. The number 3 overall player in Daniel Jeremiah's top 50 prospect ranking, Texas Tech edge rusher David Bailey's stock can't get much higher than it is now, but that won't prevent him from participating in athletic testing here in Indy. Bailey told reporters he will take part in all but the 20-yard shuttle and 3-cone drill when he takes the field at Lucas Oil Stadium on Thursday, which is unfortunate. I think that at his position with the linebacker, doing a 20-yard shuttle and a 3-cone drill would really showcase his lower-end fluidity, his ability to shift and accelerate in and out of precarious positions. It will give teams a little bit more of an insight into the mechanics and how he operates. Now, that could be he or his trainer, coaching staff, whatever, have told him, this is a major deficiency in your game. You make up for it with X, Y, and Z. But if you go and showcase your absolute mechanics in the Underwear Olympics, because that's what we do get to see is guys out of pads and the actual mechanics of how they move, possible hand placement position, or maybe they dip too much at their shoulder, allowing a defensive end to grab onto an offensive lineman. Things like that. There are small mechanics that can be visible, and maybe their training staff says, hey, look, dude, you are fast, but if you go, this could potentially hurt your draft stock a little bit. You could be bumped out of the top 3. You could be bumped out of the top 10. Now, Detroit's going, but greedy merchant. Maybe they're like, hey, dude, this is not what it is for you, which is unfortunate because I think this is someplace where in his position as an outside linebacker edge type, understanding his mechanics and where a deficiency might be could be beneficial for a team that already knows, hey, this isn't his strong suit, but they want to get a little bit more of an eyes on him so that they go, hey, look, top 5 team. They could start developing a off-season program for him with the coach and the strength and conditioning coach if they already know what's going on. You could be kneecapping your development with the potential team. This is all grandma wagon speculation. You can expect to see me do everything else, he said. After graduating from Stanford in 3 years, Bailey transferred to Texas Tech University for his final college season and took his play to a new level, tying for the FBS lead with 14.5 sacks. Boy, doesn't that number feel awfully familiar? Now he has a chance to be one of the first players off the board in round 1. It begins on April 23rd. He wouldn't bite when we asked what the potential draft slotting on Wednesday, though, taking all the buzz in stride. Quote, top 2, top 3, top 10, first 2 rounds. It doesn't really matter to me. Oh, yeah. That's the type of guy I like. This is just a super cool opportunity. Looking back, I don't know if I ever thought I'd be here. I'm just super blessed. Come on. Let's go. Brian Branch to the draft. Let's go. Look at this guy. I don't care. It really doesn't matter. I just like to play ball. Brian Branch, first-round projected player, didn't get selected. Only cat to come back to go to the media room, walk out in the day 2. This is the type of mentality right there. This is that psych profile that Brad Holmes is all about. You guys see, wow, I was just like air humping all day early on about David Bailey and possibility of Detroit getting their dirty little dick beaters on them. And then you guys are going to find this is going to be kind of a guy that we talk about later on today, Akeem Mesidor, or as I like to call him, hurt foot guy. There's a lot to like about Mesnor, a relentless pass rusher who earned first-team All-ACC honors this past season with 12.5 sacks, including 5.5 in Miami's 4-game college football playoff run. Now, honestly, being an All-ACC player is like being the top JV player. Good for you. As Bucky Brooks' number 3 edge defender and Daniel Jeremiah's number 20 overall prospect, Mesdor is widely projected to be a first-round pick, but one potential knock on his draft profile is the advanced age. Having played college football for 6 years, 2 at West Virginia, followed by 4 at the Canes, Mesnor turns 25 on April 5th. Hey, shout out. Making him one of the older players in the draft class. He doesn't see this as a negative, though. Good on him. Quote, you can call me a seasoned rookie, he said on Wednesday in Indy. I think I'm coming in more mature with a different approach, different mentality than a lot of younger guys. I think my age could be a plus. So, well, we'll see. We will talk more about Akeem Mesidor here a little bit later on in the show. So we'll save a little bit more discussion about him for later on. How do you guys feel about this, just kind of the news about some of the top prospects, what they're going to be doing, drills are going to be participating in? Not a lot of news, but just some things for us to kind of chew on for a little bit. What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Brandy John's hanging out. Brent, Rick C., my dad's here. Brent Lighton's hanging out. What's going on, Duncan? How you doing, man? Art Vanderlay. Steak dinner trade just happened with the Titans and the Jets. DN Jermaine Johnson for Titans. Is it Travion Sweat or something like that? Remember when we thought the Lions were going to draft Sweat? Yeah, dude, I do actually. So, Art, without digging into it, is this official or is this just kicking around the potato? Tesla shows promise at wide receiver 3 if Reynolds bails. Duncan, I agree. I actually think Reynolds. I think Raymond is out, dude. I'm a big Tesla fan. Branch gets sacks. Sam Roush, tight end from Stanford, ultra leader and awesome blocker, played under David Shaw. Hey, there you go, Brent. That's the type of information I like to see. That David Shaw information right there. Yeah, Sam Roush. Brent, were you talking about him on Monday during the mock draft? I feel like you were talking about him during the mock draft a little bit. We'll see how it all shakes out, especially if he's a later round pick. You know, you guys know I really want us to go and get a rookie, not a James Mitchell type, but a productive run blocker, a solid developmental piece who can play in a pinch. You know what I'm saying? It's official. Damn, dude, that sucks, bro. I really wanted Jermaine Johnson. I like Jermaine Johnson. I was kind of hoping Brad could do some finagling. But look at Tennessee, dude. Guys, did I not tell you that Tennessee is a player or two away? They now just made their defense so much better, okay? If they keep Tony Pollard great, would it not shock anybody now that Tennessee has addressed their defensive end position with Jermaine Johnson, okay? So would it not surprise anybody if Tennessee now look, they're going to watch them follow suit with Brad Holmes, 3-4 years ago with Gibbs, right? The Titans now are going to trade back, okay? They're going to trade back to just inside the top 10, and they're going to take Love out of Notre Dame, and they're going to have a solid 1-2 punch with the rookie Jermaine Love and Tony Pollard to take a tremendous workload off of Cam Ward. By trading out of their top 3 team, I believe, top 2, top 3 team, right? They're now going to be able to get multiple first round or a first round that they trade back to and a second and third round pick, if not a second and future first round pick. So now they have the ability to go after more talent to add on a rookie scale to Cam Ward. Tennessee's making moves. I said Tennessee, when the offseason hit, when they hired Saleh, dude, I was like, anybody that goes to Tennessee is walking into I thought the Tennessee Titans job was a solid job to be going to. They had a solid foundation of young talent there, okay? And now they're making moves, dude. Tennessee right now should be projected to finish second, if not win the South. Okay, I know Jacksonville's there. Okay, yes, Liam Cohen. Yes, T-Law. Blah, 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 blah. Tennessee quietly building. Robert Saleh is a good coach, and he drafted Jermaine Johnson, so that makes even more sense, does it not? Saleh trying to get his guys from the Jets. All right, yes, exactly, bro. There you go, bro. Love goes 8 or 9 at the latest. He is comp to Gibbs. He doesn't have the acceleration or top speed. He does not, but he has a little bit more meat on his bones. I see the Titans taking a big jump this season under Saleh. So do I, dude. And you guys just need to understand that I am a Tennessee Titans fan. When I was a kid and they moved from Houston and were the Tennessee Oilers, I was a Titans fan. I loved Eddie George, big Steve McNair fan, Frank Wycheck, loved Javon Curse, dude. What's his name? Bruce Matthews, dude. I was a big Tennessee Titans fan, and I still am a Titans fan. It just sucks that, like, first of all, their uniforms look like dog shit. They need to go back to the early 2000s white helmets. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about them old school white helmets. You know, Jets with the white helmets, Titans with the white helmets. Go back to the old uniforms, dude. And they're in kind of a dumpster fire of a media market. You know, in the AFC South, outside of like really Houston, the AFC South's just kind of like scummy. You know what I'm saying? Gross. Kind of like the NFC South. Just kind of gross. Just kind of the armpit of the NFL. Lions with the silver helmets. Yeah, dude, the solid silver helmets. I really like the blue helmets. My favorite is probably, though, the early 2000s. So you guys can tell when I grew up. The silver helmets with the black face masks. I like the silver helmets with the black face mask. Derek Mason! Yes, dude. Derek Mason, Kevin Dyson, the Music City Miracle, bro. I watched that shit live. That blew my mind. That was one of the most amazing things I'd ever seen at the time as a kid, dude. Yeah, bro. Art, you know what I'm talking about. Titans just changed their logo. Did they? Did they for real? Warren Moon. Yeah, I remember good old Warren Moon. Oh, okay. They'll reveal it on March 12th. Gotcha. Well, I hope it's good. I actually don't mind the flaming T. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind the flaming T, dude, but we'll see. Knowing the NFL, it's probably going to be something really fake and gay. You know what I mean? So, Mike Evans, he's looking to take his... I think he's looking for a new bitch. You know what I'm saying? I think he's done been ridden hard and put away wet for many years in Tampa. And I think he's maybe looking to flirt a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Looking to see what else is out there. Now, Mike Evans, I think you are going to be hit with one real big sobering reality right off the jump. And that is when you move out of the sunny state of Florida, you will soon realize that World War I is still going on in the majority of the United States. And what I mean by that is you're going to have to pay this thing called income tax, okay? So just so you know, the majority of the other states in the Union still observe that World War I never ended. So they're still exercising congressional approval to tax your income for the war effort. Just so you know. So you're going to lose a big old slice of that to the military-industrial complex. Just so you know, bud. Just so you just prepare yourself. He could be donning in New Jersey for the first time in 13 years in the NFL. The Bucs brass noted this week they're still interested in retaining the star wideout. However, Evans' agent Derek Gilmore reiterated to Tom. Can you guys make it a little easier for me? Tom Karras and Tom reiterated to Tom on the drive that this week the wideout intends to see what his market looks like. So he's looking to flirt. Quote, I just think that he basically wants to look at all of 32 teams. I can't go out here and say, oh yeah, we're looking for a new team. I mean, that hasn't been the mindset here. We basically just want to do an analysis. When you're making a business decision, you want to sit down, go through your checks and balances, make sure you evaluate everything you do, and then from there, when you're making a decision, you're not making an emotional decision. I think that's what we're trying to do. In the same way we did that last time. We didn't make an emotional decision, and he ended up back in Tampa. Evans is coming off an injury-plagued campaign, playing just 8 games and generating 30 catches for almost 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. It marked the wideout's first time below 1,000 yards in 12 years. In hitting that market, Evans, who won a Super Bowl in Tampa in 2020, will prioritize the chance to win a second ring. Quote, I think this is a young man who loves more than most fans probably understand. He loves to compete and to win. He loves to compete and to win, Gilmore said. This is not him sitting there saying, I want to get paid and all that stuff. You always want to get paid and you're what you're worth. But that's not going to be on the forefront. We want to sit down and go through, be like, okay, where can he accomplish all his goals? Which would be to win a Super Bowl, to break records. That's going to be extremely important. The offense. For him to know whoever he's going to be the play caller, whoever's going to be his coordinator, whoever's going to be his quarterback, that they have the ability and to really thrive and make things happen. We want to make sure that if something breaks down, we have a quarterback who is hopefully mature or experienced or has a history of winning. Someone who knows how to... I've looked at some of these quarterbacks out there. Some of them throw some really great balls. I really haven't studied anybody prior to this. Now I have. I think that's going to be important to Mike. Wherever he ends up, he can accomplish everything. So I think what you're going to see is Mike Evans going to look around, but having the injury-plagued year and be at the Tampa, by all metrics, kind of fell off last year, right? The South was a dumpster fire of a division, and Tampa could have just steamrolled everybody and walked away from it. They had the talent there. They just, we got the Baker Mayfield experience, I think maybe Mike Evans is going, I'd like to see what else is out. Is there some type of stability? Could I go chase another ring? I know this sounds crazy, but I wouldn't be surprised if he takes a sniff at a team like the LA Rams and you start to see this just like, understanding maybe he doesn't have to be the guy there with Puka and possibly Devontae, and he can just be a contributing member and get himself a second ring. And by doing so, I do think Mike Evans has already put together a Hall of Fame career. I just think that if he gets himself a second ring, his bid to the Hall of Fame is almost cemented. Two rings and 12 consecutive 1,000+ yard seasons, only missing out on it due to injuries in his 12th year. You know what I mean? Like that's very impressive. That's very impressive. And he did win a ring and got to play with the GOAT in Tampa. You know what I'm saying? So unfortunate, but makes sense. At least in my opinion. I'm just a guy inside a box that you look at. Joe Montana was interviewed saying he called the Lions and was shot down. No shit. Damn, remember Montana Cheddar? Oh, yeah, gotcha. Would you want a QB that won 4 Super Bowls? Yeah, no shit. Well, and if you guys recall, the Lions have a history of making bad decisions. Remember, Drew Brees wanted to come here, and Matt Millen was like, nah, man. Nah. We got Joey Harrington, dude. We're good. We don't need no Drew Brees. Drew Brees is coming off an injury. Drew Brees, he's short. He's a little guy. I got Joey Harrington. Yeah, we're good to go. Scott Mitchell was the answer. Oh gosh, Scott Mitchell, dude. Mike Evans has been extremely consistent, but never had a offensive player of the year type year. That's true. That's true. He's just been pretty much old steady Eddie for a long, long time there. All right, guys, so we're going to switch gears and kick it over to the 313 and talk about Lions draft prospects as we do, head into. We are hours away from the first drills kicking off at the NFL Combine. Now, I will say I'm not overly thrilled about this prospect here. Originally I was like, I don't know, Mike Payton. I agree with you on a lot of things, and I don't want to just be a fanboy that not just head along. Whatever the slipper says is right. You know what I'm saying? However, when you take a deep breath and you take a step back and you look at the reality of the situation and what it could potentially mean and what the Lions are actually trying to do at the edge position, there is a pretty compelling argument to take a secondary and more critical look at Akeem Mesidor, right? Or as we like to call him, hurt foot guy, right? The prospect who makes perfect sense for the Lions is the guy draft experts will tell you to stay away from. The Lions do not care about this stuff. This is from A to Z Sports, our guy, Mike the Slipper Payton, Lions beat writer. Every year at the Combine, the Lions are in Indy trying to find who might be the best fit for them. And this year, they might have found the player on day 2. The thing is, a lot of draft experts would tell you they should stay away. The guy we're talking about is Miami edge rusher Akeem Mesidor. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. On paper, he has everything the Lions want. In 25, he put up 67 pressures, 12.5 sacks, 17.5 tackles for loss, 4 forced fumbles, and an elite 88.3 run defense grade that was second in the nation. Beyond that, he's a smart player who has demonstrated deep understanding of the game, the willingness to take coaching, and the desire to improve. He fits the Lions culture as a guy who loves ball, wants to hit, and is all about the team. You see and hear when the fit see and hear the fit when you listen to him talk. So what is the problem? Well, you can look at the tweet from Brett Coleman above and see why the draft experts are against it. Akeem Mesidor is 24. That's the point if you just listen to him talk. Is Akeem Mesidor too old for the Lions? Coleman is right about Mesidor. Oh, damn, dude, I didn't even realize that. Yo, shout out Brett Coleman. Yo, my guy, Brett Coleman. Dude. Yo, dude, this cat, Brett Coleman, dude. Let's check out his...
one of the best coaches possible for a young defensive end is Jason Taylor.
Yo. Brett Coleman. This guy knows ball. This is the guy, dude, that really opened my eyes about how the salary cap actually works. This dude knows ball. And look at him, dude. Look at Brett, bro. Scoring interviews at the Combine, dude. Let's check it out.
One of the best coaches possible for a young defensive end is Jason Taylor. I was wondering if you could tell me your favorite coaching point that you got from him.
It was really pre-snap indications that he told me I need to transform my body, which was the biggest thing for me. So I transformed my body, I move better, I feel better, and I've looked the best I've ever looked. So, but then the biggest thing that I've used from him was the on-the-field stuff. So pre-snap, he'd always tell me, look at your keys. So he said, look at your triangle, tight end, tackle, running back. Where's the running back? Where's the tight end on or off the ball? How wide is he off the tackle? Is he inside in the B gap for insert? Where's the back? So all these different things that could give you a key on what could potentially happen. And then you can go so far deep, so you can go deeper into it. Go look at the tackle's posture, chest up, chest down, hand on the ground. How heavy is he on his hands? Feet width, staggered. or square. Go into a bunch of different things, but these are all keys that can tell you what's going to happen pre-snap, and it just makes the game so much faster for you, and you just were able to make plays.
So can you get indicators for whether or not you're going to get like a vertical set or a jump set based on those?
Well, you can. It depends on how wide their feet are, how staggered or square they are. Typically, you'll see it on film before you ever able to see it in person.
Man.
A lot of O-linemen don't really switch up what they do. They have one thing and they stick to it. It's either what they like or what they're being coached to do. But a good offensive lineman will switch it up. So you got to be aware of that, and you got to react accordingly.
I don't know, man. That was some brainiac talk right there, dude. Bro, not only did he really know what the fuck he was talking about, but he was very eloquent in his speech, too. Damn, yo. Bro. My guy. What's the problem? Coleman is right. Mesdor is 24 years old. The thing is that he's only 24 for like one more month. He'll be 25 in April before the 26th NFL draft. For Draft Expert, that means he's a senior citizen, and teams should be avoiding him and looking to draft one of the younger edge rushers to grow with the team. For a lot of other teams, that makes sense. For guys who showed up at the 2025 NFL draft wearing these sweaters, it makes no sense at all. Brad Holmes explains the sweatshirt #Lions front office is wearing in the war room. HWS stands for height, weight, and speed. It's crossed out because team emphasizes film evaluation over everything. They could be tipping their hat to us real quick. Real quick. I had this thought, and it's all about framing, right? He'll be 25 years old by the time the draft hits. And for Draft Experts, he's a senior citizen. Yes, that is a good point. However, typically at the 24-year-old point, 25-year-old point, we're looking at guys who are moving into their second contract. Have they earned it? Have they not? If Mesdor has already shown the talent level to be someone who could be getting that second-year contract, you're getting effectively a seasoned second contract player, potentially, on a rookie scale contract. Yes, this means you won't have him for 15 years. The reality is, how many players do teams have for 15 years? Yes, I just talked about Mike Evans, but, So what we're actually looking at is getting a veteran productive player in the most productive age period of his career on the cheapest possible contract you could get. It's all about framing, fellas. It's all about framing. If you structure your thought process behind that, we're using, hypothetically, Grandma Wagon, a second-round pick on an incredibly cheap deal to get a free agent defensive end. If we think about it like that, is it that bad? Is it more palatable to think about it like that? We're effectively trading a second-round pick for a free agent defensive end that comes with a collegiate productive pedigree and already apparently seems to talk and act like a seasoned pro. You know what I'm saying? Understands film, understands these subtle indicators as to what the offense is going to do. Does it not make sense to draft a player in day 2 with a second-round pick, or get back in the third round if he somehow falls, right? Now, I'm not saying go after him in the first round, but you're getting a rookie-scale contract in the golden era age bracket, most productive age bracket of his career. You know what I'm saying? Am I wrong for thinking about that? We have Ahmed and Josh looking to get edge rusher. Edge is crazy talk with so many holes to fill. Yeah, though, dude. Ahmed is unproven, and Josh Paschal sucks. Josh Paschal is still under contract because he's been so hurt that the Lions still have his rights. But there's like nothing in that says that they're going to keep him into the regular season or even on the active roster. You know what I'm saying? Mesdorf's getting the weak side of where Bane lines up. Oh, that's true. That's true. Gav, you are right. But to that point, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here. You guys know I'm not too wild about hurt foot guy. I do like that interview that he just did with Brett Coleman, though. I really thought that was a really good interview. He spoke very well. He'll be doing the same thing in Detroit, though. He'll be getting the weak side opposite Hutch, so all the attention will be on Hutch. You know what I'm saying? I will be very surprised if the Lions draft a 6'3" DN. That he is a little short, but so is Mekhi Wingu, and we drafted him too. Hell yeah, there you go, Brandy. Shout out Brett Coleman's ex. That's what's up. He's a very clean and articulate for a black man. If you know, you know. LA Times. James Rep, shout out. Is that just the government's way of what did Clarence Thomas say? A modern day lynching to keep uppity black folk down or something like that. Thank you, Mr. Detroit City. Appreciate it, brother. Hope you're doing well, bro. Stay warm down there in sunny Florida. Thank you, Brandy. Appreciate you shouting out my Twitter, dude. If day one O-line starter isn't at 17 trade back, this move will also rely heavily on what we do in free agency. 100%, Art. 100%. And so the thing with this, where we're sitting at 17 is it's incredibly interesting. Knowing that Decker's going to be there, it does give us more ability, I think. If I'm being honest, I think the Lions do need to find a dancing partner to trade back and allocate more draft capital. Get back up into day 2, get another 3rd-round pick or even another 2nd-round pick. Trade back to like 25 and kind of see where things shake out a little bit. Personally, I like pulling the trigger on Keldrick Falk in the 1st round if he's there. I'm really shitting my pants hoping that Sonny Styles falls to 17, and then I'm like, dude, if Sonny Styles is still on the board at 17, I will turn into the Flash and I will run to Pittsburgh, take the card from the Lions and run it up to the board before anybody has time to do anything else. Always listen to Just Busy with Hands. Oh, for sure, dude. Yeah, I know you're grinding, brother. I know you're grinding, dude. I just, I do appreciate it when you can chat, dude. And I just like saying, what's up, dude? I know you're out there grinding, dude. And, considering it's hitting its high right now here in Michigan of 24 degrees, phone's blowing up this morning listening to stuff. This shit might be about to go down. Oh, damn. Well, Rick, good luck, brother. Good luck, dude. Hopefully it all shakes out for you, dude. Let's just quickly peruse some more defensive end prospects over here at SI.com. Christian Boer has some prospects. Some guys we can look at. George Gums Jr. Gums is an interesting evaluation who could show some serious athleticism in Thursday's testing. His backstory is enticing. He has plenty of athleticism. As a former walk-on wide receiver at Northern Illinois, he switched positions and blossomed as an edge before ultimately transferring to Florida for his final 2 years. With position change still relatively new in the spot, Gums will need to continue developing and likely wouldn't be a day 1 starter. He's crafty off the edge, though, and has the inherent athleticism to develop into a difference maker. Maybe a 5th-round pick right here, It would be interesting to see how well Gums tests as he underwent knee surgery that ended his season. He told reporters he plans to do the 3-cone drill. That should be a good indicator of how he's able to move laterally at this stage in his recovery. That's a good indicator. That's a good indicator right there. But, we do know Brad Holmes likes to draft hurt guys, so maybe a day or a 5th-round pick. Sorry, got fucking eyes are itchy, dude. Denise Sutton out of Penn State. Dennis Sutton stepped into a big role in his final season after Abdul Carter went to the professional ranks, and he didn't disappoint. He had 8 sacks and additional 3 TFLs, showcasing plenty of athleticism in the process. In particular, one element of Dennis Sutton's game is that stands out his agility off the line of scrimmage. He's very good with his short area bursts off the ball and has an array of moves that stand out to evaluators. With a strong day showcasing his bend and agility, Dennis Sutton can really improve his stock. You can tell when I start to get to the back end of the show because I can't read for shit. Wesley Williams from Duke. Speaking of Josh Paschal, Williams has already helped himself plenty throughout the pre-draft circuit as he had a very good performance in the East-West Shrine Bowl, and that he produced a PBU on the screen and a strip sack that led to a defensive score for his team. Now he needs to show his athleticism once again in front of evaluators at the Combine. He has the ideal frame, and his tape shows a player who consistently plays with a high motor. He fits the Lions mold in that regard, which matters plenty to GM Brad Holmes. Currently, Williams is viewed as a mid to late round pick. If he's able to show off that athleticism that fueled him at the Shrine Bowl in front of evaluators in Indy, he can skyrocket up the boards. Well, in theory, he can skyrocket up the boards. I think, again, that whole playing at a smaller school, and not for nothing, I just get Josh Pascal vibes off of small school guys right now. I'm just, I do kind of like this Gums dude, though. A lot of athleticism, maybe a 5th-round pick. Obviously hurt, which lends itself to Brad Holmes already being a little bit higher on him than most people, And I do like the wide receiver athletic profile before switching to defensive end. Now, does that mean he does what the Lions want him to do? No. Is he basically bringing in an El-Kadin Muhammad type? Probably. But we'll see. Again, Keldrick Falk at 17 will pretty much solidify our defensive end room for a long, long time. He's only 20 and a half years old. And really, I guess in my book, what we're looking at, guys, with Keldrick. So if we were to go like Keldrick Falk in the first round, he's 20, 21 years old. The complete opposite of that would be going Mesdor in the second round. You know what I'm saying? You get this, like, on one end, you get this wild athletic freak profile who's potentially very immature and mentally underdeveloped compared to, on the other end, this highly productive, very articulate, older, seasoned player. But again, you're getting that cheap rookie scale contract at the higher end productive point in their NFL or age career. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense, guys? How are we feeling, Mad Hatter Nation? Also, shout out Gav, dude. Good to see you, man. I remember when I was a kid trying to figure out what Clarence Thomas said when he referenced a long dong silver. Ha! Nice, Art. Anthony Hill's junior interview with Lions went really well. Unfortunately, Bear INT went well too. Hill was born in the same hospital as Barry Sanders. Nice. All right, for sure, Gav. That's what's up, dude. That's what's up. Devin Eastern is my only D-line pick. No, okay. Hill Jr. will probably be gone. He's the real deal, especially if Hill runs a 4.4 today. Well, yeah, if any defensive lineman runs a 4.4, they're going to skyrocket up any board. Anthony Lucas is my D-end I would look at. For sure, dude. Isn't Anthony Lucas the guy out of USC? Yeah, dude. I've actually taken him like the past 2 mock drafts, bro. He's big as fuck, dude. Look at that. That's a big boy. That's a big motherfucker right there. Yeah, he get up after it. Hell yeah. Day 2 edge rusher who come off the board. All right, I'm on board with that, dude. I actually think we've been able to grab him in like the 4th or 5th round, or the 4th or 5th round a few times in the mock draft. So, yeah, I do like Anthony Lucas. I'm with you there, dude. Yeah, I'm with you on that, dude. I'm with you on that for sure. Yeah, and the thing is with this draft class, and we still have free agency to go through, but knowing that Taylor Decker's coming back, let's just say we're sitting at 17, okay? And I mean sitting at 17 meaning we can't find a dancing partner, right? And you're the Lions and you're sitting there and there's no Sonny Styles. There's no Keldrick Falk. The top offensive tackle prospect is someone you're not willing to reach for at 17, like a Caleb Lomu, And Mansour Delane is there. Would it not be ridiculous for the Lions to take one of the top corner prospects in the draft who graded out as the stickiest corner in the college football ranks this year? You know what I mean? Like, there is a lot of variables that goes into what the Lions could do at 17. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. It's because it's what I would do and it's what I want to get more picks. I want the Lions to trade out so fucking bad, dude. But I don't think that's probably not going to happen, dude. You know what I'm saying? Tariq Davis is a way better corner. For sure. That's fair, dude. I'm just saying, though. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of possibilities that could happen there. Like, for all we know, the Lions could be super high on that corner out of San Diego State. You know what I'm saying? And they could just blow their nut right there. Or maybe they just are sitting there, they trade back to 25, and they go, hell yeah, A.J. Halkey's still there. And they pull the trigger on A.J. Halkey. Or they take McNeil Warren out of Toledo. You know what I'm saying? there is a lot of variables. We need to get through the combine, and we need to get through free agency. And even then, knowing Brad Holmes, did anyone see us taking Tyleik Williams last year? Did any of us see that being a possibility? Very few people, simply because Lee McNeil was hurt. You know what I mean? That's not the only reason he was. And I do think that Tyleik Williams played higher and better in the small sample size we got from him because of the rotationary needs. I think he played better than his draft position. I think we actually did get a nice little steal out of Tyleik Williams. These kids are raw. There's no right answer or wrong till 5 years out. 100%. 100%. Hard to put all chips in our first round DB again. I would also trade back if that was our only option. No, Art, 100%. But what I'm saying is, like, in this situation, we are stuck at 17. Like, we cannot. Nobody wants to trade with us, or there is no viable trade. You know, we can't do a first round swap and get back into the third round or pick up a fourth. You know what I mean? It's just like a 1-to-1 with a 7th rounder, you know, or a conditionary pick. You know, if we're just simply stuck at 17 and they're like, what do you do if you're staring down the barrel of like a top rated corner and then a massive drop off of talent with no trade partners? You know, if you are in this very unique situation, absolutely stuck at 17 and your options are really projected as high and then big swings, you know, what would Brad Holmes do? Not that big on Lewis. Kyle Lewis, another dog linebacker that could be a safety. And if you look at Hill's 2024 season, he could be a top 3 pick. Yeah, for sure, dude. For sure. Unfortunately, you know, there is a reason why it wasn't as productive this year as it was last year. I don't know enough about him, to be honest with you, bud. I don't know enough about him, to be honest with you. He's not an edge. He's a linebacker, for sure. Hell yeah, for sure. Right now, guys, linebacker position, I'm so fucking high on Sonny Styles right now. I'm so high on Sonny Styles. Brad says take the best play available in round 1. And I agree, Jack. I agree, and that's why I'm like, so what do? You probably end up taking the best. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the best track record of taking corners in the draft, period. First, second, 7th. It doesn't matter. I hope that Brad doesn't put too much emphasis on the return of break straw, rake straw, you know. I don't wish the kid ill will, but availability is the best ability. You know, we'll see. We get the combine though, barreling down. First set of drills is going to kick off here in the next couple hours. If you guys got the time, check that out. If not, we will be recapping what we learned tomorrow at 10 a.m. Make sure that you got that notification bell turned on. Slap the like button on your way out the door. Share this round with all of your friends, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you who shared your opinion down in the chat, dude. I think we had a relatively productive show, guys. Lots of different opinions and a lot of different thought exercises I think we could have. This is the beauty of the draft, and this is the beauty of having all of the different opinions and viewpoints to be brought in here to Mad Hatter Nation. Don't forget, we are a bastion of sanity in a sea of nonsense. We are the based AF Detroit Lions and NFL content creation station here, broadcasting to you from Grandma Studio 1. It is the Hat and Beard Show, coming to you live every single day, Monday through Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. Guys, it's been a wonderful show. Stay out of trouble. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Until next time, tomorrow at 10 a.m., I'm Hat and Beard. You've been an attentive audience. We'll see you next time. Bonga, bonga. Frig off.